Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Can we hear me at the back? All good? Yep. It's quite strange to be here. Sorry, I'm Alice. This is Suzy. It's funny to be here because... Oh, and Hayden's just walked in at the back.
Local celebrity.
The space downstairs was my nursery school. So we're all in a very happy, familiar, safe space here.
It's your spiritual home.
It is my spiritual home, quite fittingly. And I've seen Helen. Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Barnes Fragrance Fair, beautifully organised by our leader, our captain of the ship, Amanda Carr, who's floating around somewhere and being fabulous and busy. I'm Alice du Parcq, and this is beautiful Suzy Nightingale, who did her podcast this morning. It was brilliant. And I was sitting there, and I was just, trying to get off my chair to come and, talk and interrupt.
Well, we need
and
you
be part of it.
as a guest for your part 2 of the podcast, so we will be getting that
part
in
2,
the
3, 4,
diary.
5, 6, all of them.
Absolutely.
Today is going to be mine and Suzy's sort of little edit, our pick of our favourites from the Barnes Fragrance Fair, which is actually quite a difficult thing to do, and why we're in our 3rd year of doing it, because there are too many that we love, and we have to keep this to a tight 45 minutes, basically. So we've made a little bit of a selection of brands that we've talked about a lot before in our content, in your podcast, in our writing, some sort of new ones as well, but ones that maybe you might not have even considered maybe smelling, and some beautiful things that might be the one for you, or the ones, because we will have fragrance wardrobes now. And the way that the next sort of hour or so is going to go, we're going to talk about our favourites, but there'll be time at the end for any questions. And if there are any words that people don't understand, or if it feels a bit confusing, pop your hand up, we can explain, because actually this is what we're here for. We're here to untangle it. Imagine Suzy and I as the tangle teasers of the perfume industry. We just try to make it unfussy, unintimidating, less exclusive secret handshake of a members club, because actually it should be a language and a world that everyone feels part of, whether you're 6 or 60, whether you have 10 quid or 200 quid to spend. There is something for everyone in the fragrance industry, and we want to celebrate that.
We absolutely do.
So shall we kick off?
Yes.
Do you want to go first?
Well, can I?
Yeah.
Thank you. The first fragrance I wanted to talk about is a house I've fallen in love with. It's owned by a guy called William, who I just think is a mad inventor, basically. He distills things on his boat, as one does, and practices with all these crazy ingredients. He works with the perfumer Pia Long, who is also here. You cannot miss her. She has got neon pink hair, amazing, representing her own house of Eau de Bougie. And the house that she has also created for is Vallense, which are these incredible green bottles. So Vallense Spirit is the fragrance.
Such a great colour. And he's in green.
He is also in green.
He has a cart with ice cream outside.
Fragrant ice cream.
Fragrant ice cream. And he is a bit like a sort of Willy Wonka, but rather than purple, he's in green.
He's in green. Yep. You can't miss him either. So Vallense Spirit is empowering. It's fresh, it's enlivening. It's a fragrance that I spray around 4 p.m. when I have literally no concentration left. I need something to bring me back in the room. This starts off, I think you really get the note of Mitcham mint, which is an English-grown mint. It's cooling, it's silvery. This to me is standing by a babbling brook in the early morning. It's still dew sparkling on verdant leaves. You maybe pick a handful of mint. You hear the river rippling by. You crush the mint in your hands and you smell it and you just breathe deeply. It's one of those fragrances that makes you stop and breathe. And I think those fragrances in your life are so important. They're not aromatherapy as such, but they are doing something that just
soul healing.
Stops us in our tracks, makes you take an extra lungful, and you can feel your blood pressure dropping as you smell this, I think. It also wears beautifully on the skin. So something that's unique to the Vallense fragrances is they have this base of holy grass, which is not a scent that I had smelled before, but this is one of the ingredients that William distilled on his boat, sent to Perfumer Pierlong and said, can you do something with that? And she loved the scent of it so much. If you can imagine the smell of hay drying in the sunshine. So you've got a little bit of that grassiness, but it's dry now. It feels like the sunshine has infused into it. And that scent, so you can only get so much on a blotter, and we'll say that for all of these fragrances, because we are not made of cardboard. On your skin, those notes really come through and they resonate and they warm throughout the day. So that note really comes through on your skin, that hay, that sunshine, that nuzzly warmth with that freshness. So it's one of those fragrances that does two things amazingly. It enlivens you, it feels spiritually cleansing, and it also comforts you, because I find a lot of very energizing fragrances are great first of all, but then you're it's like you've had 5 espressos in a row and you're a bit jittery. This, when it dries down, it just puts those hands on your shoulders and says, everything is going to be okay.
Yum. Yes, we
that.
all need that.
Yeah, completely.
It's a really great one to start this off. It's quite bracing, but not in a sort of like smack round the face sort of way. It's, as you said, really energizing and enlivening, but still quite soothing as well. And I think that if you're smelling one of these blotters today in this talk, and you quite like it, and you're not quite sure, go and try it on your skin. Give it 20 minutes, really feel it sort of melt into your pores and come back to it, and you'll just know. You'll know when it's like the last piece of the puzzle clicking in, that beautiful feeling. You'll know if it's right for you. So try not to feel under pressure. If you like it on a blotter and you think, oh God, they're going to sell out, don't worry, there's plenty there. Try it on your skin first and really think about it before you make that investment. And it's the most happiest investment ever, isn't it? When you find
it is. And I think when you find those fragrances, plural, that is just joyous. It's like having a new friend. It's like meeting a friend as an adult, which in some ways is even more special than a childhood. Well, we happened to go to school together and we lived down the road from each other and we've kept in touch all these years. It's finding that soulmate who you just look at each other and within 5 minutes it's like you've known each other all your life. And finding a fragrance that fits you that way is like, I've got a new friend who's going to look after me and I can bring them out whenever I want.
Also with these blotters, thank you Maximize for all the
blotters. Gorgeous blotters.
Suzy and I spent a lot of, actually many happy hours stamping thousands of blotters. So if you take a blotter away and you think, oh wait, what was that green one in the bottle that smelled of like a forest and it's lovely? It's written on it. So you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And actually, it's one of the most therapeutic, mindful, happy, easiest jobs I've done
reminded
this week.
me of having, and this is going to age me, a petite post office carry case. Yes. Joyous. You opened it up. There were little stamps and stickers and a phone. It got me into writing, basically.
There we go. Thanks to the stamper. Thanks, Suze.
Thanks.
I've brought you into a church, and we're gonna take you even further into the churchy world, because if you've watched my sort of Instagram, everyone will know I like a sexy church fragrance, which is probably not the right thing to say here. Sorry, but it's a sort of summery, incensey, churchy kind of a fragrance, and it's called Gallivant Naples, and the story of Gallivant is great. Nick Stewart, who is the founder and the sort of owner, creative director of the house, used to be the creative director at L'Artisan Parfumeur, and he wanted to create a fragrance brand that almost sort of was inspired by travel and wanderlust. He wanted to make escapism in a bottle. And whilst the blotters are coming round, and this one's called Naples, he's got lots of other fragrances with the different city names, and he's at the fair today. I'm going to read you out a quote, just while the blotters are going round, to kind of put you in the frame of mind and the state of mind for this fragrance. Who doesn't dream of Italy? The people, the food, the style and romance. And il dolce far niente, which means the sweetness of doing nothing. I'm drawn to the south for its colour, cheerful chaos and anarchic, darker spirit. A visit to Naples gets the heart racing and makes you feel alive. So this is a citrus woody incense fragrance, and Nick specifically chose the perfumer Luca Maffei, who is Italian. He's one of the most in-demand perfumers in Italy, to really sort of channel the love of Naples into this fragrance. And as we're smelling it, here's a quote from Luca, actually. I wanted to celebrate the two big life forces of Naples, God and the sea. I channeled Nick's idea of Neapolitan decadence, the city's vivid colours and charm. I paired accords that reminded me of its salty sea breeze with a transparent white incense to evoke sacred mysteries. Very fitting for this month, isn't it? So that salty sea air, that lingering warmth of late afternoon sun, church candles, smoke, incense, a bit of faded grandeur, a whiff of decadence. And when I smell this, because I love a churchy fragrance, especially in sort of wintertime, Halloween ends, Mariah starts singing, and I am in all the smoky Bible fragrances I can find. But I want something that's okay for this time of year, that has that sort of clean, crisp, breezy sort of breath of fresh air running throughout it. And I think that this is that perfect combination if you like a churchy incense fragrance, but you want something right for this time of year. And that smell of Catholicism, I actually think that we're probably more fittingly were perfectly fitted here, because I feel like it's more of a Methodist fragrance, where we're around the spiritual entity. We're not right with God on our shoulders right here. That it's more of a Methodist fragrance, I think, rather than a Catholic heavy going.
On a breeze.
It's on a breeze. It's sort of the spirituality is around, but not quite so in front of us. And I feel
you're not in the
this is the right place
booth
to smell this sort of fragrance. And because incense fragrances are quite dark and gloomy and gothic, and we love all of that for like a moody day, but not when it's springtime in Barnes and you're walking around and walking the dog and going through the beautiful common and getting your coffee, and you want that liveliness, that energy, that feeling of sort of vivacious spring is in the air, but you still want your sort of little air of mystery. And I feel that this has those two worlds that collide perfectly together. And what I like especially about how Nick works, and you can meet him, he's here at the Barnes Fragrance Fair. He works quite slowly. It took 3 years to make this fragrance, actually maybe more like 4. That slow process allows a perfumer and the creative director to wear a fragrance in different scenarios, different seasons. So he knows that this is quite a universal, unigender fragrance that works for any season. And if you invest in something like a bottle, and now I've got all the prices, but I think maybe there's a special show price, so I'm probably not going to go into that now. But it's one that you think, well, I like it now, but will I wear it in wintertime for parties? And yes, he's made them specifically to feel that they fit well in all sorts of scenarios. So go and have a look at his stand. He's got lots of other cities. If there's a city that's very close to you, perhaps that might be the one that's better fitted to your sense of style and fragrance preferences. But what do you think of this one? Do we like it?
Yeah.
I love it. That little twang, a little crunch of sea salt, and then that white purple smoke. Yummy.
Well, thank you for showing us how versatile incense can be as well, because I think we have depending on your culture and if you happen to go to church or not, and whether that was a good experience or not, we have a very specific idea of what incense smells like, and there are so many differing incense fragrances out there. Yeah. So it's lovely to find one that's got that freshness about it. My next fragrance is BeauFort Cape Wrath. It is not as terrifying as that name sounds, by the way. So Cape Wrath, apparently, it is the most northwesterly tip of Britain, and it is an ancient turning point for ships. So the Vikings would have used it. We still use it to this day. It's a handy sort of junction in the sea. And they used it. So the perfumer for this is Ewan McCall. He is also the perfumer for his own house of Durham Studio, and they are here today. So you can go and talk to him, and BeauFort are here, so you can talk to them as well. It is one of those fragrances that I feel like you can use it as a metaphorical turning point as well. It is a citrus. It is fresh. It's bracing. I think you get, again, a bit of that sea salt in the air, that sparkle, the waves crashing against crystal-infused mineralic rocks. But it stays with you all day. So I was wearing this yesterday. I sprayed it on at 7 a.m. I could still smell it, because I'm still up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could still smell it at 3 o'clock this morning. It is one of those fragrances I reach for when I need something to hold me up all day, which I definitely do today because I'm very tired. But it is again a friend standing behind you. If you happen to fall over, they've got you. They're going to get you back on your feet again. You get wafts of this. It's almost like you meet yourself coming. If you walk around a corner, you can smell yourself still in the air, and yet it isn't a heavy fragrance. And that's quite rare with citrus notes because they are volatile. They do disperse and evaporate quickly in the air. There is a warmth in this as well. There's saffron in here, so you get a kind of warm tingle on your skin that comes out as well, and a pepperiness. There's pink pepper. That's where the sparkle comes from for me.
Yeah, that little flash.
A little flash, yeah. To me, it is those. If you imagine a rock in the sun that's been really dried out, and then a wave hits it, and suddenly it's soaked with salt, and you can see the salt crystals drying on the rock in the sun as well. But it's kind of jagged but comforting as well. You might cling to that rock some days, and some days you really do feel, don't you, like you're clinging to a rock. Well, this is one of those fragrances that, yeah, it gives me power. It drives me forward throughout the day. And I cannot tell you how amazing this is to wear. I've had several compliments already today, which is always nice because we do love that. You smell amazing. It
is about that, isn't it?
It is all about that.
I mean, I remember vividly, I was about 15 at school, and someone said to me, "Do you know what? You're the best smelling person at school." And I thought, that's it. Done. Tick that box. Everything is fine. Everything's going to be fine now. And I remember those words, and I remember exactly who said it to me as well. And I will always thank her in my mind because that made me feel incredible. It was like my Avengers Assemble calling, and I was like, I always want to be one of the best smelling people in the room, next to Suzy, of course. I could never be in competition.
We are always the best.
Isn't that the best thing that anyone could either say or be heard or listen to?
It's like someone has recognised a part of your soul. You haven't said anything, you haven't had to give a speech, or it's not about what you're wearing, what you look like, who you are, but they know who you are. Yep. They've recognised it in you, and it's like, you've met that.
Yep.
That
and
friend
if they're a perfume nerd, suddenly it's like, oh, wait a minute, we have a new language. Let's go and sit and steal a cheeky bottle of wine and go and sit in the corner and ignore everyone else at the party because we will talk for 3 hours now.
Exactly. And it's that little smile. Even if you don't get to talk to them, it's like if you're driving a yellow Mini and you pass another yellow Mini and you both sort of bib your horns and you go, yep. We're both yellow Mini drivers, aren't we? It's that recognition that you get.
Totally. Okay, I'm going to shift our scent profile a bit, shift our perspective a bit, and I want to talk about a fragrance that has a really sweet story to it. So Sarah McCartney, who is the creator, founder and perfumer of 4160, because you have to say the numbers, Tuesday, she has her studio, her lab in Hammersmith. And when she moved there, I think it was 2017, 2019, the roof was leaking, but it was perfect. And the space of Hammersmith itself really called to her, thank you. Because in Hammersmith, you have council estates and mansions. You have posh restaurants and chicken shops. Everyone sort of clambers together, like lots of areas in London. And she loved how welcomed she felt. And she wanted to make a perfume, and this is it, to say thank you to Hammersmith for welcoming her and her team of mad chemists and perfumers, and it's called Hammersmith Tea and Biscuits. And I've gone through this sort of a bit of a penny dropping where actually I think I'm a gourmand girl.
Yeah.
And
it
I
turns out.
crave sort of almondy, buttery, cakey sort of smells in a way that I never have before. And this hits in a way that works really well for me. And this sense of welcome, this sense of comfort. There's actually another little story about this, which is quite funny as well. There was this big protest that Sarah was reading about in a newspaper years ago, and it was a protest outside a mosque in New York. And to diffuse the sort of volatile situation, the people from the neighbourhood came around with tea and custard creams just to start a dialogue.
That is the most British story I've ever heard in my life.
And it was such a British story. She was really inspired by that, and this is sort of woven into the fragrance. So when you smell this, it smells of one of those, to me, it smells of one of those amazing posh, if anyone knows these biscuits, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can get them at Waitrose, and they come in a sort of cream box, and they're shortbreads, but they're lemon shortbreads, and half of them are dipped in white chocolate. Do we know the ones I'm talking about? Thank you, Joe, biscuit here of joy. Dunked in a really nice builder's cuppa.
Oh, yes.
And that smell, that slight lemony tang, because there is a little bit of lemon up there, some beautiful citrus notes, and then this sort of gluten, wheaty, soft, yummy, sticks at the back of your molars, kind of comforting texture to
and
it.
Soaked in milk as well.
And soaked in milk, but that lovely edge of tea, that slightly sort of smoky, gentle tea, but it's not overly done. It's all just calm and reassuring, and everything's going to be okay. My mother-in-law, if anything happens, she'll just make a cup of tea and everything will be okay. She'll bring one in the car with her jaggling away, and it's spilled tea everywhere, because just in case something happens, she needs her cup of tea. And that feeling of just reassurance is something that is really important in a fragrance. I feel that fragrance should always feel comfortable on your skin, and you want to keep going to it, and it makes you feel warm, and you want the people that you sort of hug to go, oh, can I just hang on here for a little while longer because I feel safe? And this is the sort of fragrance to do that. I'd also put it in a category of summer gourmand. So gourmand is this fancy pants French word that means greedy, which is a great word, and I wish almost we used that as the category for English-sounding gourmand. And it's sort of greedy and delicious and sort of foodie. It's an edible, gluttonous type of fragrance. But it's not the full pudding trolley. As I said, it's a tray of tea and biscuits to make everyone feel okay. And I love the sentiment of that and the story behind that. And I wore this a couple of weeks ago just because I wanted to kind of reconnect with it. Because I've had this bottle in my life for a long time. In fact, that's my second bottle. And somebody smelled it and went, oh, God, that's amazing. What is it? And I said, oh, it's 4160 Tuesdays, Hammersmith Tea and Biscuits. And actually just saying the name was so funny and made me smile. And it was just a bit silly and giggly. And God, perfume could be so serious. Let's just bring a bit of fun and joy. And that's what Sarah does brilliantly. So if you're lucky enough to do one of her workshops today, or go and see her on her stand, her fragrances, I mean, she's got one called Fluffy Lemon Top, and the sexiest perfume I've ever made, and all these funny names.
Over the chocolate shop.
Over the chocolate shop. And if you align with that sort of sense of wit and whimsy, she's the one for you.
Sometimes you can't wait for someone to ask what fragrance you're wearing because you think it's got such a great name.
Ask me. It's just happy, isn't it? It really makes me smile, this one. And actually some of the ingredients that she makes, that she uses in her perfumes are really sort of strange, and she's a bit of a Willy Wonka as well.
She is, yeah. Do you know, there's a lot of odd people in the fragrance world. I'm not saying any of you are odd. You can make that judgment for yourself. We're odd, aren't we, Alice? Quite proudly so.
Proudly,
and I think it takes a certain kind of mind to come up with these things and combine them and say, in my talk earlier with Nicola Bon for the On the Scent podcast talk, someone said, could we prescribe them a fragrance for the smell of roast potatoes?
Oh, yeah.
And so I wasn't going to go Guerlain Chanel for that. And I said, go and check out the 4160 Tuesdays fragrances, because if anyone has got a roast potato fragrance, I would say she has. And if she hasn't, she'll probably go, you know what, that's a very good idea. So watch this space. Next year, probably she will have a roast potato fragrance. Yeah. Now, my next one, we are going into the woods. Shall I start singing? No. And it's with Ostens Patchouli Heart 2. Now, Ostens is an incredible...
Jo, clutching her heart.
I
know.
We love
it. Jo Fairley, who is here, our Empress, our leader, had this in her interview last year, and everyone just went nuts for it. And actually, it did sell out on the stand. So we've said to Chris, get enough bottles, because people go bananas for this fragrance.
They have 2 takes on patchouli, so they've got 1 and 2. This is number 2, and patchouli heart is an incredible ingredient. So Chris, you and Ostens use a lot of LMR naturals materials, which are the most premium, gorgeous. You want to wear each of them in their own right. Jo Fairley will also be talking about LMR in her Rose workshop later today, so you can actually smell those raw materials for yourself. These are ingredients that perfumers fight over to use. And I think, again, we think of patchouli as being very heavy, dirty, and don't get me wrong, we all love a dirty patchouli. But there is something about this that is so sophisticated. It's got a slight vintage powdery quality, thanks to the iris in there. It is, to me, this is, yes, okay, we've got the patchouli in the woods, but a starlet in a gauzy gown has flitted at moonlight through those woods, and she leaves the scent of her face powder behind, a little bit of lipstick, perhaps. Maybe she's kissed you in the woods. These are places that our minds go to. So sorry if you're not used to us talking about fragrance. We don't just describe the notes. It takes us somewhere, right? So this is just, it's so chic, this, to me. And again, if you love, can we mention the candle, the Fornasetti candle?
Well, if you were here earlier on for Suzy's chat, Chris was talking about a beautiful candle that no longer exists now, but it was by Fornasetti, who make those amazing plates with the faces. And they had a candle called Otto, which was inspired by the smells in the atelier, where the plates made splashes of paint, a bit of turpentine, lots of sawdust, sort of rich, beautiful, indulgent flavours and smells in an artist studio. And that candle is incredible.
Do you know, there's almost the scent of like chalk paint in here to me. Yeah. It's like poster crayon paints and crayons and those delicious art paper, really good quality paper as well. And
this perfume is the closest match possible to that fragrance, candle.
It really is, yeah. So if you loved that candle, which is no longer available, oh my goodness, this on skin just is glorious. It's one of those that people will definitely come and ask you what you're wearing. They will want to get closer, so be warned. It is a nuzzly fragrance, but it also projects. It lasts beautifully on the skin. There's a note of violet leaf in here as well. So again, I think if you hear the word violet, you think, oh, Parma violet sweets, and it isn't that at all, because it's got that verdancy. It's like little wild violets growing in a woodland, and dappled light through the leaves of the forest canopy coming through as well. Such a complex fragrance, and yet it smells simple as well. I think you understand it as soon as you smell it. Yeah. It does change a little bit on skin, but I find this is what we would say is linear, which means that it doesn't change that much. It's not going to take me, whoa, now I'm on a roller coaster of emotions, and now I'm by the sea, and now it's hot, and now it's cold, and I think you just know where you are with this fragrance. It's a steady hand. It's a steady hand on the tiller, although we're in the woods. Sorry, mixing metaphors. It is just lovely. Sometimes you need a fragrance that is just bloody lovely to wear, to put on. And I think this is so appropriate in so many situations as well. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yum. And Chris and Laurent on the stand are just the loveliest people. Go and chat with them. They're so interesting. And if you're lucky enough to get a ticket for Joe's Rose workshop, Chris will be there, and his tales of his rose use. And Laurent's going to be with you. Laurent Delafont, whose dog is called Otto, actually. Yeah, I know.
That's brilliant. I'm thinking maybe we keep Angela for a bit later because it's such a big one. It might actually shut everyone's noses down.
That is true.
The next one I want to talk about, I need to give you some context because the fragrance has actually only just landed this week. So it's very, very new. And I was going to talk actually about one of her body oils, but there's a beautiful brand called Nyita. And Rebecca, the founder, was... I think before we put hang on the blotters, because I kind of just need to give a little bit of a story about this brand because it's so special. It's like unlike anything I've ever encountered before. And the founder, Rebecca, was... it was during her pregnancy. She's actually an ex-actress. It was during her pregnancy that she was felt a sort of calling to find products that aligned with her lifestyle choices, and those are very ethical and sustainable lifestyle choices. And she couldn't find anything that didn't have hexane in it, which is a crude oil solvent that's in a lot of beauty products. And if you have a lifestyle choices that align with that, and you want to surround yourself by ingredients and products that are as ethical and as sustainable and as toxin-free as possible, then this is going to be the house for you. And she started creating beautiful body oils, and she's made a candle now. But every single ingredient has been, and she has spent years looking for the farmers around the world who don't work with hexane and these big sort of petrochemicals. She has spent years even just finding the one guy who makes the lemon oil and the one bergamot supplier. She's worked so hard to create this house of luxury that is entirely transparent and traceable, 100% organic. So there's even the alcohol that she uses in the perfume is an organic alcohol. Every single part of the process, the supply chain, everything has been considered. And if those are themes and choices that align with your type of lifestyle, then finally there is something here that is like the ultimate in ethical goodness. So just a few weeks ago, and I was going to talk about one of her body oils, which are beautiful, and you apply them just before jumping in the shower or the bath, and they smell incredible. I was going to talk about one of her body oils, but then I found out that she's actually launching 3 teeny tiny little perfumes, and they are very intense extrait de parfum, so they're very concentrated, so literally one spray on a wrist is all you need, and they come in these very small bottles, and you can try them all at the fair down the road. There are 3 of them. I've chosen Celestia because it's almost the sort of freshest one. So if we can pass some blotters around, I'm sorry for hanging on to not letting you smell yet, but I think that sometimes those brands need a bit of context and understanding before we dive our noses in. And I think Celestia has this real joy and glittery sort of feeling to it. It's this exotic paradise island bottled where the sand is soft and your bones are warm and your skin is hot, and there's ylang ylang, which is this flower, which is one of the big notes here, and it's succulent and fleshy and sensual, and it's just melty, delicious, and it's that sort of summer feeling bottled of everything just being slow and lazy, hazy, almost like you've been massaged from scalp to toe in a 5-star resort in the Maldives, and you've walked out drizzled in this oil, and it just stays with you. And that is the type of fragrance this will do to you. You feel, it makes you feel sort of lowers down.
I cannot tell you how much I want to. I am so there.
Yeah, yes, trips, somebody, anyone. That sense of just melting into your sun lounger. And as somebody who works from home, and I've experienced those feelings of just sort of feeling quite trapped because the washing machine is right next to my little tiny office, and the kids' toys are everywhere, and there's laundry everywhere, and sometimes I'll just grab the top of a bottle and just inhale as almost like a little chapter break in my day, just to go, do you know what? Right, I need to reset, take my mind somewhere for 5 minutes. It's sort of like the fragrance equivalent of doing a quick crossword, isn't it? Just a quick break. going to be okay. And I feel that this has this sort of quite soul healing feeling to it as well. And you've not smelt these yet, have you? Because the candle is beautiful. I mean, the wax is a sunflower oil wax. I'm telling you, every single part of her entire brand is thought through, carefully considered, and the work that she's put in is, I mean, commendable.
Is she the one? Because I don't know much about this house either, so I'm going to be talking a lot to her today. Is she the lady who also does her own enfleurage?
I think so.
Yeah, she does. So enfleurage is... She found the only place that's still doing enfleurage. So enfleurage is a ancient, as in the Egyptians used to do it, technique of embedding in different types of wax flowers so that the oil sort of leaches into the wax, and you constantly have to take all those tiny little jasmine or ylang-ylang blossoms or whatever you're using out, reset it, do that several times over days and days and days and days and days and days, and then finally you can use that as the fragrant ingredient. So therefore a lot of people don't bother doing that anymore because it's really expensive and time consuming, and so she's found the last person who does that, basically. Yeah. Amazing.
So that's a little bit of a tropical, fresh island moment. And I think we're probably going somewhere very different now, are we?
We
Suzy?
are. So, but we're soothing. We're soothing. So
soothing.
This is, it's Perfino, which is an incredible house. So they are based on aromatherapy. They come as different oils in droppers. But they also, I know you can't see this, but we've got our, should we jangle our balls? These are little manders, basically. So you can get them in gold, as shown here by my lovely model, Alice Duparc, and in silver. So they are sterling silver and proper gold. They are handmade, I believe, by an architect who designed them. So they open, and inside is a little lava ball, and you can soak that with whatever. You can soak it with one of their oils or a fragrance you already have and love, and you can choose one of their blends. So the blend I'm talking about today is Soothe blend, because I feel like even if you haven't got one of their necklaces, sometimes we all need that thing, and they recommend you can drop this oil onto a handkerchief as well, something that you can reach for, that is going to give you that chapter break, as you say, something that is going to ground you, that's going to make you feel better. Perhaps you work somewhere where you're not allowed to wear fragrance. Sorry, we could not work in one of those places. Sorry, we would be banned immediately. The police are on their way now to arrest people who even think of wearing fragrance in some workplaces. Or perhaps you work very closely, perhaps you're a dentist and you're bending over people all day and you don't necessarily want to wear Portrait of a Lady of a morning. But I think also just to have as almost a stress toy, I don't realise how often I do this, and perhaps
like
you find the same. You sort of shake it and you smell it all day. Great on a plane if you're a nervous traveller, or you just want something, or during a meeting, or you think, oh God, I've got to go and see that annoying colleague. And you just think, I'm just going to smell this and everything will be fine. I won't actually kill them or say what I really think. It is those moments that you need something that isn't just a fragrance, and it is aromatherapy in a way, whether or not you believe in that. I mean, there are all sorts of scientific tests that now prove that these ingredients have actual effects on our minds. They actually lower our blood pressure. They actually energize us. They actually hit certain parts of our brain. And Jana is the trained aromatherapist that works with Kim, who is the founder of Perfino. And they have all sorts of, so basically they can prescribe for you. If you say, I'm feeling anxious, I need energizing, perhaps I need both of those things at once. I'm a very complex person, in fact. I think that they will have something for you that you can just drop onto a handkerchief, or you can have on your fragrance necklace. Also amazing gifts for people if you don't know what type of fragrance they like. Maybe you could get a little set of them, of the oils, or just the necklace on its own, and they can put their own fragrance on it.
The little ball that I've put in here is soaked in something that I sprayed last week. It's actually a perfume.
Yes.
And it still smells. That's how...
So much.
That's amazing. That longevity is brilliant. And so you know that you can keep hold of it.
Exactly. And it's something about that. There are lots of cheaper versions out there, I'm not going to lie. They're often sort of made in China. I have bought many of them, I can tell you, on Amazon and on eBay. And they're always disappointing and they tarnish. That is key. That's why she's used solid gold, solid silver, because it doesn't tarnish. And the lava just seems to hold the fragrance so much better than anything.
And you get a few in the
exactly.
packet,
So what you're smelling in here is you've got ylang ylang, and that's the calming,
actually,
the self-confidence.
A really nice segue from Celestia to this.
It's a different take on it.
Yep.
Then you've got Palmarosa, which is used in aromatherapy for refreshing and balancing. Then you've got geranium. Geranium is one of my favourite notes. So it's sort of a bit rosy, but it's like you've got the whole rose. It's like you've got the stem and the leaves and the fuzziness and the thorniness as well, the woodiness of the rose. And that's for insecurity and uplifting. And then you've got Petitgrain, which again is such a glorious, immediately bracing, that friend who just sort of slaps you around the face a bit and says, come on, pull yourself together. It's that friend. But you've also got the calming in here as well. They are just beautiful. I just couldn't be without I feel slightly anxious if I'm not wearing my necklace now. You hear that? Hear the rattling. As I say, I don't realise how often I go back to this and just to hold it. It's like people have used pomanders for centuries, and I think that act of having something with you as an ex-smoker, just having that thing that you can physically hold as well as your smelling of it, it really helps sometimes.
Gorgeous. The one that I want to talk about now is not a perfume, but boy, I wish it were a perfume. It's actually a diffuser oil. So again, I'm going to give a little bit of sort of background context to this one. A few years ago, this lady, Rachel, from a brand called Meadowfarm up in Yorkshire, she popped me an email and said, actually it was a DM on Instagram, said, do you know what, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think I make really good candles and I'd really like to give you one. Would you mind if I sent one? And usually I'm a bit like, dude, I've got samples 8 months old that I haven't smelt from like Hermes. Forget it, I have no time and no... But I don't know, I just really trusted her instincts here, and she sent me a few candles, and ever since I've been completely bonkers about them, because she's the sort of person that has spent years looking for the right wick. She's gone through about 300 different types of wick to make her candles burn beautifully. So perfectionist extraordinaire. Her candles are beautiful and her diffusers are stunning as well. And she's got her beautiful stand outside. In fact, this morning, it's the first time I've ever met her in person. I've done lives with her. She's a complete candle geek. She knows everything about the sort of melting temperatures of wax and the vessels to put them in. Beautiful brand. She's got this great farm. Her Instagram account is hysterical. If you don't follow her, do. She's got donkeys, geese. She's got cows now. She's got chickens. She's got beehives. She learnt how to be a beekeeper, and she's selling her honey as well. And she's bought some eggs from her farm. Anyway, her candles are incredible because they burn beautifully flat, and that's because of this wick that projects the heat far enough so they don't tunnel. The scent projection is amazing. Last summer, she sent me her new candle, and it comes in a diffuser, and that's what we dip today. So I've got the diffuser oil in here, and it's called Smoked Honey and Orange, and oh my goodness, I love a suntan lotion perfume. I've talked about them loads. It's just one of those scent profiles that I go bananas for, and I smelt this, and it was just this perfect, creamy, sort of slightly citrusy, European, expensive suntan lotion kind of a smell, but a little bit roasty, toasty. Like my skin has burnt ever so slightly, and the hairs have caramelized a little bit, but I can still smell. I mean, that's in the 90s. I am an SPF 50 kind of a girl now, I promise.
When people used to lay on those basically baker foil strips.
I was like a rotisserie chicken in my late teens and early 20s. I would like roll around to get an even suntan. Now, absolutely not. I'm also married to a cancer specialist, so that's a definite no in our family, and we are SPF 50'd up to the max. My children come back more pale than when we arrived on holiday. But the smell of suntan lotion is just my absolute favourite thing ever. And I'm always chasing the ultimate suntan lotion perfume. I've got loads that I love. And I dipped this in, and I thought, is it going to work if I dip it in a diffuser bottle? Because the diffuser is beautiful, and the shape of... She also does a 1 kilo candle of this, and that is on my shopping list later. I thought, is it going to work if I dip a blotter into this? And I left it, and it was dribbling everywhere. I was like, I think it's going to work, and will we be able to pass them around? Oh my God, I smelt it. I was like, this is the perfume. This is the one.
Wiping it on
and
yourself.
I had to send Rachel a DM going... asking for a friend, but what would happen if I put the diffuser oil on my skin? She went, probably don't, but I'll see if I can make a room spray and spray that on your clothes. I'm like, right, okay, that's my commission for next year. Anyway, so if you love this scent profile, she makes candles, and this diffuser is beautiful. So please don't go and put it on your skin. This is not a perfume, but this is a beautiful, independent, British, homegrown brand. And she does things brilliantly because she's a super geek like us. And honestly, all of her candles and her diffusers are stunning. And she has her honey as well. But yeah, so I want this as a perfume.
Yes.
Oh, yummy, yum. And the pricing is brilliant. Like, it's not extortionate. She does a duo of the candle and the diffuser as well. Go shopping at her stand.
I think
she's
bought I don't think the bees are in it, but she's bought a hive.
A hive, yeah.
Yeah.
And a bicycle. I mean, it looks amazing.
Fab.
She needs her own shop. Please make this happen.
100%. And this is a house that I've told my friend Hester, who has just got her first bees. Yes, very excited. She has to go and see this woman because she is a kindred spirit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right, we need to speed up. I've been given the 10
we're getting
thing. I'm sorry I took too long.
My last fragrance is from Wales Perfumery, and it is their forest fragrance. You are to suntan lotion fragrances as I am to forest fragrances. I think it's my happy place. Actually, physically, just going into a wood, I am immediately a nicer person. It's just a pity no one else is there to see it. But I'm nicer, I'm better, I feel happier, and they again have proven this, and I've done a lot of research into forest bathing, where literally going and looking at green, smelling trees, hugging a tree, love to hug a tree. It helps you in so many ways. It lowers your blood pressure. They've proven that. Even looking at pictures of trees lowers your blood pressure if you do that for 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay. The colour green, it speeds healing rates. And they now find that this is some sort of ancient memory that we're tapping into when we walk into a forest. There is something that humans want to find shelter in a forest. And this to me is that sheltering place. Yes, there's green and verdancy, and you're looking up at that tree canopy and the sunlight is filtering through, and it's almost like being in church sometimes in a forest, especially if it's a huge one. But just looking up at that canopy, it's like that reverence that we get, and you feel smaller. And I think that's important as well sometimes, to feel smaller. It's great.
I always think that if you're going through a kind of moment of flux, and if the world feels big, act small, and these are the fragrances that just make you sort of feel grounded, your feet on the floor, two hands on your shoulders.
And this, to me, has got a sort of chypreness about it as well. There's, what do we mean by chypre? One of the most difficult terms in
like
perfumery.
the offside rule, isn't
it's
it,
the
for
offside
fragrance?
rule, yeah. We could spend the next hour going through what is a chypre. Basically, it means originally it was ingredients that happened to be grown in Cyprus, chypre being French for Cyprus. What does that mean? Eileen, who cares? This just smells woody, great, complex. It's layered. It's going to unfold on your skin. It's going to hug you. It's going to protect you. It's like looking up at that wooden roof and knowing that, okay, we're going to be okay here. This has been up for a lot of years. It's the stained glass and that sunlight filtered through the window. So it's not a bright, citrusy fragrance. It's muted, but there is light outside. You can look up to it. You can revere it. You feel small. You know, church architecture. There's a whole fragrance article I have, by the way. Sorry, I know we're running out of time, but on architecture and fragrance, I think there's a lot in it. But sometimes fragrances make you feel like you're in a particular space and you're a particular height within that space. And this makes me feel like I'm looking up, I'm safe, I'm protected, and I love it.
Gorgeous. I'm going to take you somewhere completely different now for our last fragrance. And this fragrance is by Angela Flanders. And it's called Shantung Dream. And it's not going to make you feel small and get you out of your anxiety. It's going to make you feel like an absolute glam bomb.
Yes.
And this is her latest fragrance. What a Beautiful House. Angela, who's no longer with us, was a costume designer, and she opened her first boutique in London's East End and resurrected this beautiful Victorian building, and is very inspired by textures of clothes and fabric. And it's almost an apothecary. Her store is beautiful on Columbia Road. When she made this fragrance, she wanted to channel the texture of Shantung silk, and it is just the most rich, indulgent, swirly, just glamorous floral fragrance. It makes you just sit up. It's got this beautiful kind of succulence to it as well. And when I first smelt it, I immediately thought of a Miss Marple sort of heroine. And she maybe has the sort of dilapidated mansion on the outside of St Mary Meads, and all the villagers are sort of kind of bewildered by her, and they either want to sleep with her or kill her or befriend her. And she never says a word, and she's sort of fabulous and glamorous, incredibly sort of young, but with this old soul. And she'll come to the church and on a Sunday and not say a word, but maybe give £1 to every sort of little charity basket. So she's generous, but elegant and quiet and calm and composed, unlike the rest of the villagers who are mad. And she's her, I feel. Do we feel her in the air?
And she sweeps past and you're just left with this scent in her trail. And you always want to speak to her, but you're a little bit scared.
And I think an Agatha reference to any fragrance is always a good thing.
Well, who doesn't want to bewilder a villager? I mean, really.
Right?
That's my ultimate dream.
Yeah. So, because you wanted this on your list as well, we both sent each other our list. I really want to put this one. You went, me too. And I said, well, let's both talk about it together. So how would you
describe this, and they use this particular phrase. And Angela's daughter now has taken over the perfumery.
Who's here? Yeah.
Yes, who's here today, and she learned literally at her mother's knee the art of perfumery. And to me, the phrase that they used that really resonated me, it was, you're on holiday. Maybe you're staying at the mysterious Miss Marple character's mansion. She's invited you there. You open the door to the balcony on your bedroom and you walk into this hot sunlight. You're barefoot. You put your feet on the warm terracotta tiles and you're watering some of the plants. Or maybe the gardener's already watered it for you because that's quite labour intensive. And that smell of water hitting hot terracotta tiles that have been baked by the sun, and your feet, it's almost slightly too hot to walk on. But then that freshness that comes, and this gorgeous neroli orange blossom wafting across, and you can't see where it's coming from, but you just know it's there. It's swirling in the air around you. This is such a happy fragrance, and I've loved wearing this. I love a lot of the Angela Flanders fragrances, but I have gone through a lot of this since it launched because I just need it. Yeah. I need it because it is. You feel like that mysterious woman who everyone is slightly intimidated by, but you're just so lovely that they can't hate you. They can't hate you. Yeah. They want to be you.
Or murder you.
Yeah.
And on that note, so I hope that within this curation, this cacophony of beautiful, beautiful perfumes, there might be something that calls to you. If it does, run and go and buy it because it will sell out. Or not, or maybe you like the story of one of the brands. They're all here today. The founders, all the perfumers, or both will be here today. And I hope you enjoyed this little adventure with us because we could do this for another 2 hours easily. But it's time for us to shuffle on because there's another talk here, and I know Jo's got her talk, and there's stuff all day. But thank you. And if there's, we could do a couple of. Do we have time for 2 questions? Maybe any questions? Oh, yeah. Okay.
The perfume you were wearing when you were 15.
Obsession by Calvin Klein. Love that question. I mean, I wore many different things, but that was the consistent one. That and Gap Heaven.
Gap Heaven. People go mad for that, yeah.
Love that. Any other questions? I mean, we'll be sort of hanging around for a couple of minutes, but have a great time at the fair. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with us. You know what? Let's do a picky.
We're doing a picture. Don't anyone move.
Come here, and we're going to do a little one for the old. Right, here we go. Okay.
Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.